The seventh level, now, if we're rising incrementally, we're getting in right relationship with the universe, we're getting in a constructive consciousness, right thinking about whatever our challenge might be of the moment. We want to arise to the place where no matter what we're feeling, remember we're not our feelings, no matter what, that truth is rising free in our consciousness, that we are able to literally give a blessing to any situation by naming the truth. The first words out of our mouth, instead of being reactive and victim, is to be naming the truth. And we are literally putting on the new mind, okay? We need to heal ourselves in all our bodies, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And we need all of our bodies, like heart and mind, for instance, working as a one. So the first shift starts with the correction of mind in our ideas, by consciously changing our ideas. Then what happens is there is an alchemy in my emotions that's automatic. Now realize this, your mind leads. So if I say, gee, it's going to be a terrible day, the immediate follow-up to that is a depression in my system, okay? Immediate follow-up. And yet, if I stand in the face of the whatevers and I say, I know that all things are working together for my highest good, there's an immediate elevation of my feelings. So by my choice of how I'm going to handle something, I can elevate myself, or I can, depress or disempower myself, right? And we were just talking, actually, both Peter and Marie, right, Maria? Both saying that there is no energy in experiences. Realize it. And everything that comes to me in my life has come for me to really, literally bless it, to make it a thing of truth, all right? So if hurt comes to me, or I respond to something with a hurt feeling, it is up to me to alchemize that to love and freedom, releasing that energy back to the Creator, perfected, as it were, right? So there is no energy. It's all in my attitude about it. And we know, it's just saying with Peter, the same thing can happen to two people. And one can have a golden consciousness of only good, and they can turn lemon into lemonade, right? Through their word. The other may have some other tendency, and through their word it will be so. So there's absolutely no energy, no qualified energy in experiences, and everything has the potential to manifest itself as the perfection, to work for us as the perfection, to work for good. So the highest level, after we've gotten in right relationship, we're absorbing, we're knowing, we're recognizing. We have a thing called spiritual mind treatment. This format is recognition, unification. For instance, I want to operate health. Let's say I'm physically have a challenge of illness. I want to get well. How do I get well? By saying I'm well, I'm well, I'm well. It might work, but then again it might not work if there's a lot of subconscious negation. So what you do is you say, you recognize a truth about the universe beyond yourself, which is, there is a principle of health in this universe. I know it because people get well. All right, that's a principle. It's a self-existent fact of the universe. And when we consciously recognize, and there is no transformation without conscious change, say, there is a principle of health in this universe. I've seen it. Then the second step is unification. I am one with this perfect principle of health. And remember we talked about our idea of God, that God is all in all and we are that, and there is only one and there is no other. Amen. Right? So whatever exists as divine principle, I have access to, like plugging into an electric socket. I can plug into whatever socket I want and run the currents of that electricity. So when you're making a demonstration, this is a very powerful method. You know, some good you want to manifest. Ask yourself, so that you'll have more power and more depth, what principle underlies this? What principle of infinite life am I really wanting to demonstrate here? So for instance, let's say we have run out of something, and we want to have more than enough, is what we really desire. So the working principle in the universe is there's always enough and to spare. That is the truth of God. We don't see God running out of anything, do we? That would be impossible. The universe would not exist. So the reality is there is more than enough for everything, regardless of what I feel or think about it at this moment. That is the living truth. And when I take this principle, then I have a deeper understanding that that behind this request for, you know, more cookies for the party or whatever it might be, is that unchanging principle that I want to demonstrate through this. Perhaps I want a new job. So what principle might I be demonstrating there? That I am free to work. You know, all good is available to me without limit. Or, you know, maybe the negative programming is, well, there's not enough work to go around, you have to take what you get. We know that that is not the truth in God. If it were the truth, this universe would not be. It just would not be. So we have to recognize the fundamentals. It's very powerful to ask yourself, beneath your aspiration, your goal, you know, what principle does this embody? If I want a Rolls Royce, what am I really saying? I want something that expresses the luxury, the comfort, the ease of the infinite, appearing as the form, right? So you'll have much more powerful demonstrations if you will realize, and you can grow also, because you know that you are literally training yourself to, you know, abstain, like a mental diet, from all the negation, the force of the negation. Remember, we've got to be, you know, vigilant about this, and asserting the principle. So fear comes over me, and I say, I know there is perfect work for me. There is perfect work in this universe for everyone, and I am one with that principle. Therefore, I know it is for me. Now, so this is the recognition, the most, you know, in treatment, recognition, unification, recognition, unification. So you build this way, then we're in right action, you know, serving the universe, having a consciousness of service, no matter what our role is. The divine idea behind that is that we serve and empower the universe, and as we serve, we are served. As we empower, we are empowered. The whole, the law of the circle, what goes around comes around. And we're participating, we are participating in the universe, in this prosperous universe. When can I participate? Whenever I choose to participate. Do I have to build to it? No. The only thing I have to build is my consciousness, right? Stuart Wilde talks about money. Money going on 24 hours a day, being faxed over the wires while people are sleeping. You know, there is infinite money available in the universe, and it will go, and it's always circulating and always moving, and it will go to whoever, you know, by the law of attraction, can receive it. That is just what it is. That is the law. So if all I have to do is plug into, in my mind, recognize this is going on, I'm a part of that, it's all God, and I'm a part of that, and how rich I am. So we get the idea of the circle, the inclusion. The more of life you can include, the more rich your life will be. the more good will be manifest in your life. And, all right, so the utmost level, the seventh level, is what we all want to attain, which we talked about before, and that is the level of I think and it is. There's just a deep sense of, living in such harmony with the universe. I think and it is in perfect right way. And bring only your goal. Yeah. Be open and receptive to the highest idea of good. Remember, when we say good, we do not mean a mixture. We do not mean with a tinge of suffering. We mean wholeness, unity, the circle. This is so important because if you're not consciously cultivating those ideas that are harmonious with God and good, you will be subconsciously holding some other idea. And many people stop their successes, Maria, because they feel that they, for instance, I was working with an artist once, and a great artist, and she wanted to create a loft and, success and so on in her world. Good according to her, God according to her, right? And so I said, well, what's your picture like? Well, I'm successful and I'm in there's no people around. I'm alone. I said, okay, there's the belief. If I'm successful, I'll be alone. I said, so people, your picture. That is not a whole, complete God idea. That is not an entire idea of good. You see, there's darkness in it, right? So we cannot cure the darkness by going further into the dark. We turn on the light. That's why we turn away from the problem, it is said, and we look at the solution. We turn away from the appearance, and we look at the truth that empowers us. We turn away, and we practice this till there's no magnetism, till it's really automatic. And this is a powerful consciousness, because you're moving constantly in that mind of truth, which is absolute. Remember, this is God's universe, so when you're resonating as the power of God, your life is demonstrating that bliss, okay? And the highest law, human law can only hold you in restriction so much as you're in that cause and effect field. But once you've transcended and you're in the state of love, and we all know, miracles happen all the time. For the faithful, for the innocent, for those who can love, for those who can believe. Be ye as a little child. So we have to constantly be vigilant to say, whoop, there I am hanging out in the past. Let me stop that right now. Now, what is the truth there? And sometimes we have to work because we get all caught up, right? So you got to practice until there's nothing else but truth pouring out from your consciousness of good, and only good, because good is another name for God. Good is another name for God. Joy is another name for God. The many names of God are good, joy, bounty, health, peace, all those attributes, universal attributes, okay? Now, the seventh level is the absolute, and this is the level where we realize that there is only one cause, which is we call God, the all in the all. Thus, there is only one effect. There is only one thing that is manifest. We were saying, an artist painting a painting impresses himself. There is no mistake in that painting. So, since the divine artist has manifested all of us are aspects of that great and glorious crystal painting, possessing all the attributes of that which it is. We are imbued with that, we are that. So we recognize there's only one cause, there's only one effect. And if there's only one cause that can be for the highest and greatest and most joyous good, there can only be one demonstration in my life. And here's where we get into making, we call a manifestation a demonstration in science of mind. That means it's materialized, right? It's physicalized. So we aspire to have God demonstrations in our life. And that means we want, when we demonstrate something in our life, whether it be loving right relationship, $1 billion, whatever the form of the divine substance might be, we want it to be filled with the essence of the absolute, meaning beauty, love, prosperity for all, the most boundless, nurturing concepts we can think of, and we call them, I call it making a God demonstration, okay, because they're always good. So we, here at the absolute, we are waking up from the dream of lack and limitation. Like we said, it's like there's a cloud over us in the mind field that has oppressed the mind so that it cannot realize. It's like a slumbering mind that cannot realize what is. And if I stay in a tiny room, of course, I'm going to think the world is a tiny room. That is not the truth, we know. But because that's all I know is those four walls, and I never bothered to look outside of what is, that will be my experience, right? So, lack and limitation are the nightmare of the separation mind from God. We feel we have separated off from the Creator, thinking we are the power, we have to struggle alone. To the degree that we think this, to the degree that we have separation going on in us, we experience separation from fulfillment in our life. And there's always something wrong with it somewhere. To the degree that we perform unification, I am one with God, I am one with all it is, I am one with those perfect principles, our life then begins to manifest the nature of that thought, right? So lack and limitation are dreams, mind dreams of separation, projections of our idea of separation from good. And it said there is only one problem, that is separation. There is only one solution, unification. And that's what we're doing today. We are recovering our lost gifts of spirit, or suppressed gifts of spirit, through unifying once again consciously with the infinite and the all. All right, so we're waking up from this dream, and just like a dream that wasn't real, we thought it was real while we were in it, but now we see this is not the truth. It is not the truth, and I don't accept that anymore. For I have glimpsed, like Maria said, heaven. Occasionally we have cosmic experiences and we do see the truth, but then we get brought back in. All right, so we are curing our delusion. And it says, when we are awake, we shall see him, or the absolute, or that which is, and ourselves as it is. When we awake, we shall see it as it is. The crown of glory, the high chakra, the seeing, the all-seeing. God is manifest. Here's the principle at the absolute level, which is the absolute level of truth. Since God is manifest, supply is already manifest. All of God is manifest now. Therefore, the whatevers that I want infinitely are already manifest now. Now, this transcends, of course, ideas like I have to effort for it, I have to make it. We don't really create anything. We set our minds in the right condition where the law of mind works for us to create. So we see that then, if God is manifest, all manifest now, then my good is already manifest for me, already prepared and perfect. But I will not see it until I have arrived at the place of acceptance. It's like, remember talking about those floors. They exist. My good exists for me at the higher level of knowing and thinking right now. But I will not come face to face with it and have the capacity to recognize it until I realize it does. So this once relieves us from the idea of having to make things happen. What we need to do, instead of trying to effort and will and make things happen, is to realize it already is now. It already is all manifest for me now. And all I have to do is show up. Just show up. Okay? It is already created in perfection. I was just dreaming that it wasn't. I was just believing that it wasn't. It's like, you know, I dreamed a dream. I thought it was real. I thought I was in lack. But now I see that I wasn't. I never was. I just thought I was. I thought I was. So the clouds at this point have dissolved, and the light of truth, the sun, is shining through, you know, vitalizing the brain cells to right perception. Now at this point, the absolute. There is no longer thee and me, God and me. There is only one. There's no God and man. There is, I am in the Father and the Father is in me. I am one. God I am. I God am. There is only one. There is no separation. Of course, this is the state of the Christ. And what Jesus meant in his Christ state, or that word Christ, we mean as the omniscient state. So Jesus, the man, getting to the point to realize through his evolution, I and the Father are one, lived in the benefit of that consciousness, that Christ consciousness. It's the ultimate. I am in the Father and the Father is in me. Whatever is that, all that thou hast is mine, mine is thine, thine is mine. It's the reciprocal relationship between the father-mother principle and the son-daughter principle, okay? We are one. So at this level, there is no duality, and we are coming out of an age of duality, which again has caused such separation from good, right? So there is no duality. There is only one thing manifest, and that is God, and it's all done, and it's all perfect. And I just show up and enjoy the show, right? So there is only God, only truth. There are no two powers, and this has been one of the most devastating ideas, that there are two powers. There's good and there's bad. Like there could be two causes to a universe. Again, if you stop to think about this thought, you would know this cannot be. There can be only one power. And otherwise, you know, if we exerted the power of health thinking, we would not be able to get well, right? But we know that that is not the truth. We know that we have the capacity to perfect everything because there is only one power. And I like to say, even so-called evil or whatever borrows its breath from the Creator, right? So there's only one power. So there's now thee and me. And I am one then with all the supply, all the capacity, all the prosperity of the Father. I was, Ingraham says, great meditation, I was created by the Spirit of wealth. I am the Spirit of wealth, living in a universe of wealth. All right? That's why Sai Baba can manifest points. He knows that. He doesn't question it. And realize your word contacts, you know, in the invisible plane, the atomic molecules of the universe. So when you say, I am that, you know, all the elements of creation respond to you and become that thing that you have in mind. So this is the totality of unified being, a state of such wholeness that there is no other. There is no other. And this is where we want to be. Wouldn't you want to be so unified with your idea of good that no negative could pierce your consciousness, that it was like nothing to you? I like to say, what is that to my good? Yes, but. Yes, but what does that have to do with me? You know, I can be independent of the lower influences. All right, no separation. So through all of this, you see the seventh level is a very high state. That means it's already prepared for me. All I have to do is maintain my consciousness. Remember, the rose is in the seed. The rose is always in the seed. So the fulfillment is in the idea from the beginning. From the beginning, the whole thing is there. And all we have to do is maintain right attitude and right knowing, and the fullness will appear, just like the rose. Okay? And perfectly, because we're dealing with law, which is empirical, right? So, lots of metaphysicians say it's in divine order. We have these mantras, or, I think a little bit beyond affirmation, because like the song of God, the song of the universe. Well, where is it? Where is this thing you have in mind? It's all in divine order. So, because someone's panicked, they don't see the physical aspect, they don't understand the law, they're saying, well, where's the proof? Where is it? It's in divine order, And these are such great harmonic statements of truth to make to yourself, right? I have spoken my word, and I know it is being accomplished in perfect right ways. Mine is not to be concerned. Well, I should worry. No, I know it's being taken care of. Right? So this type of self-language, which is the language of faith, and the language that God and the reality of this universe recognizes and hears you as you speak, you want to develop that. And for prosperity, particularly money or any form of prosperity, you want to develop mantras that are the truth of God and not in lack and limitation. For instance, I spend all my money. I must know as it goes out, it comes in. See, there's a law. If I know the universe, I know there is a perfect law of circulation that is always moving. I know that God never runs out. In the perfect circle, there can be no running out, no lack of anything. So I would say, as living with the Tao of life, the what is. So as it goes out, it comes in. And we circulate and we live with this type of consciousness, which is a mighty and secure and powerful and magnetic and magnanimous consciousness, where we are never afraid to do, to give. We need to be at the place where we can feel so free. If I give away a world today, I may have one tomorrow, all right? It's just so that I may have one tomorrow. Because the universe is always circulating, just like those cars parking. You all have demonstrated parking spaces, right? So what's so different anywhere? One job goes, another comes. Thank you. It's the flow. Life is not meant to be rigid. It's meant to be lived in the stream, right? And with the concept of fullness, all that the Father hath is mine.